What if Anakin received a black Kyber Crystal from Ilum? Let's explore the depths of it in the video. Anakin pulls his cloak tighter and shivers as he wanders the frozen halls of Ilum. Its ancient Grand Temple has long been one of the Jedi's greatest achievements, not only in terms of its creation, but also as a testing ground for the young Jedi. This is precisely what Anakin is doing as he stumbles through the icy caves. He was supposed to build his lightsaber, but that requires a Kyber Crystal, and to find one of those, he must use the Force to guide him. When he looks around, all he can see is the shimmering of the frozen walls. While they might seem like crystals, he's learned that these are just tricks of the light, or perhaps the Force to misguide him. To find the true crystals requires patience, and to reach for senses more ancient than the Force. Once he clears this junction, Anakin decides to rest for a moment. Taking a deep breath, he begins to meditate and clear his mind. He lets the cold and the looming deadline all slip from his mind. All that matters now is him and his concentration on the Force. When at last things fall silent, the youngling welcomes the sensation and instead reaches for the Force. A breeze blows against his neck, but this time it feels different. Rather than being a result of the cold, it feels as though it's tapping his neck, as if it's trying to get his attention. The youngling opens his eyes and feels the air blowing behind him, urging him down a less traveled path. Unlike the rest of the halls, this one appears empty and darkened, as if it had been long forgotten. Anakin hesitates. He wonders if it would be right to go there, but the winds continue to blow in that direction. He thinks of Qui-Gon and how he often said to trust in the Force. Taking one final breath, he makes his way down. The darkness greets him almost immediately, leaving him blind and wandering through the passages. Doubt begins to creep into his mind as he considers where he is. Maybe such a place was left abandoned for a reason. Maybe the Jedi never intended for someone to come down here. What if it had all been a big mistake? This doubt leads to fear as he glances around tepidly, considering trying to make his way back. But as he turns around, he swears the path he had just crossed was brighter. Instead, only a voice of silence greets him. The boy finds himself shivering once again as he tries to calm himself. His legs shake, and he's tempted to run, but his legs remain frozen in place. His breath catches in his throat, but then, as the voices in his head grow more intense, he lets out a shout. The walls rattle, and then he forces himself into silence. All those doubts and fears he has are pushed back as Anakin reminds himself that he is the one reaching to use the Force, not the other way around. The doubts are pushed aside as he shatters them for the illusions they are. His fears are squashed. He forgets about the mission and what it means for the Jedi. None of that matters. What matters is finding his way, and he has everything he needs. His fears are still there, but he refuses to let them guide him. Instead, he takes a step forward, and then something catches his eye. It is a faint glimmer at the end of the hall. Anakin sees it and immediately realizes he has found the thing he's looking for. He makes his way to the end of the hall and spies a crystal resting atop a stalagmite, and pulls it free. Anakin takes a moment to admire the crystal. It is the color of the purest ink and the size of a Republic credit. But he does not linger for long and finds his way out. This time there is no fear as he lets the Force carry him out. When he returns to the Jedi Temple, he is initially greeted with congratulations as the latest of a long line of younglings who had accomplished their tasks. There are some who had their doubts on whether he could find a Kyber Crystal despite his age, but seeing him return helps him vindicate his presence there. Yet, when Anakin shows them the crystal he had managed to find, their excitement turns to shock. A black crystal was something that looked alien to them. Few had ever seen one, much less held it in their hand, and some Jedi are unsure of what it might mean. Yoda personally takes the crystal to examine it further. Along with Mace, the two sit in the council chambers alone to look it over. Yoda continues to toy with it, letting it shift between his palms before closing his eyes.
Most unusual, this crystal is. Long has it been since a black crystal was discovered.
The crystal's color does not matter. Perhaps it is just a coincidence. Someone was bound to find one eventually.
Still, miraculous this coincidence is it not? The appearance of a black crystal, the emergence of a Sith, and this young one, the chosen one.
Mace does not answer right away. He has to admit that it is rather strange to imagine. All of that happening together was unusual, but before he can answer, Yoda takes a seat in front of him and places the crystal on the ground. He closes his eyes and Mace instinctively sits down with him. Together, the two begin to meditate. They reach out into the crystal, feeling the power it holds within, despite how small it is. They connect with the force stored within this crystal. The two act as a funnel, and the power spreads out like a spider web, its tendrils and points spreading out all across them, beyond what they wish to see and into what lies beneath. As they do this, the pair jerks back and feels a sudden urge of power as visions play through their minds and bring answers to their questions. Mace winces as he sees himself before a great battlefield, but not just anywhere. He is in the very heart of the Republic on Coruscant. Entire buildings have collapsed, and ships crumble from the skies, their burning hulls giving an apocalyptic atmosphere to the battle. Beyond the dark alley, you can see two armies exchanging fire. Figures in white armor rain down blaster fire upon the second force. These are droids, countless droids. His eyes narrow as he sees the same droids Qui-Gon had encountered by the Trade Federation. He's about to begin shouting orders on how to fight them, but a blur moves past them and stands atop a ruined skyscraper. It is a Jedi in flowing white and gold robes. His cloak billows behind him. He pulls out his weapon, and Mace Windu's eyes widen as he stares at the dark lightsaber flashing behind him. Mace stares at the Jedi, eyes widening. It is Skywalker. He has long had misgivings with the young Jedi, but seeing him here, he feels a strange sensation lifting him up. It was something he had not felt in a while. Hope. Meanwhile, Yoda finds a very different vision. Like Mace, he finds himself back on Coruscant, but rather than finding himself amid a great battle, he stares at the workings of a massacre. He watches as strange, white-armored figures march through the halls of the burning Jedi temple. The Jedi watch these advancing troopers in terror. They try to raise their lightsabers and defend themselves against the assault of these men. While they fight valiantly and hold off against the volleys of blaster fire, many begin to fall one by one, leaving the survivors to watch another figure emerge from the flame. He is cloaked in a tattered Jedi robe, his face hidden behind a hood. Yet none of this hides the dark aura that hangs over him. Yoda feels himself gripping his cane, and then he stares over at the man as he pulls out his weapon. And then he sees it. A pitch-black lightsaber hums to life. Yoda can only open his mouth to scream as he watches Anakin rush through the ranks and cut down the Jedi who survive. He moves like a whirlwind, cutting through them with ease. As the visions fade, both of their eyes shoot open, and they jerk away. The two share a look and then a nod slowly. The crystal pulses weakly with power, but both of them ignore it. Instead, they share these visions, and then the tension only grows as they hear the completely different ideas. It is clear the Force is showing them two completely different possibilities. The question is, what shall they do with it?
Dangerous this is. Skywalker is, yet vast the power he possesses. A powerful ally he is in the Jedi Order.
Or its doom. We must take action, Master Yoda. If your vision is true, then the survival of our order could depend on it.
A plan you propose?
Yes. Please allow me to take the young one as my student.
Oh? A bold idea, that is. Assigned to Kenobi, young Skywalker has been.
I know. And yet Kenobi is young. He has not even officially passed his trials. The responsibility of training a Padawan is difficult in the best of circumstances. But one with such a great destiny as this might be too much for him. Better leave it to a more experienced Jedi.
Still, drastic this action is.
Nothing is too drastic when survival is on the line. The boy needs discipline. He needs to truly understand what it means to be a Jedi. Only then can we rest easy in knowing that he is one of us, that he is worthy of the destiny he holds.
Yoda agrees, but vows to keep a close eye on the two as they begin their training. It comes off as a surprise for Anakin, as he was expecting to train under Obi-Wan, but he does not question this sudden change. At first, he is excited to have a chance and train under an experienced Jedi Master, but he soon learns that this is anything but gentle. From the moment the boy becomes his Padawan, Mace pushes him harder than any student the temple has seen in a generation. Every movement of Anakin's blade must be perfect, every kata crisp. When he fails, he does not receive a kind word or encouragement. He receives silence, or worse, a reminder of how far he still has to go.
That crystal may have chosen you, but it does not make you worthy.
Anakin says nothing. He nods, but the fire behind his eyes smolders a bit brighter. Each criticism Mace gives lingers in the boy, igniting a fire that burns bright, but also threatens to burn everything down. Years pass. His skills grow at an alarming rate, faster, sharper, more instinctive than anyone had expected. He masters Form 5 by 13, begins experimenting with Ataru by 15, and holds his own against full knights in sparring before he's 16. His lightsaber, sleek obsidian, is a sight of respect within the Jedi Temple. But inside, Anakin is a storm held in check by discipline. He's punished for every outburst. He learns to bury his emotions deep, to not let even a flicker of frustration cross his face. A part of him always longs to scream out or strike his master, but the only thing that prevents him, the only thing keeping him going, is the promise of greatness.
The greatest Jedi are forged in restraint. You are a sword. I will shape you until there is no weakness left to break. When that is done, you shall rise up and become the greatest among us.
Anakin believes him. Yet, Yoda is uncertain. Since his earliest days, he has kept a close watch on what's happening. Occasionally, he steps in and offers quiet words, brief meditations, or training in less rigorous virtues. Compassion, mindfulness, balance. Sometimes Anakin listens. Sometimes he shrugs it off. Mace disapproves, and he knows it. That is why he remains uncertain. And yet, Yoda does not intervene. He allows Mace to continue, deciding it is best to wait and see. Anakin's power grows, but so does the shadow beneath it. He does not speak of the vision anymore, but it has not left him. When Mace recommends Anakin be elevated to Master, Yoda refuses.
Not yet. Strong he is, but still learning, still struggling. Patience, Master Windu.
Anakin is standing just outside the chamber. He hears everything. When Mace leaves, Anakin follows after him.
Surely you disagree, Master. You are skilled and show great promise, Skywalker. But we do not question Master Yoda. If he believes this, then there must still be work to do. But what is there left to do? I've trained and fought just as you asked. I've mastered all the lightsaber forms and force abilities you've instructed me in. I've dedicated myself to this training, just as you asked of me. What is left for me to do? We shall see. And remember this. In the future, the Jedi Council does not take kindly to spying on conversations.
Anakin clenches his fist, feeling the fire within himself starting to burn brighter. He shakes his head and barely suppresses the urge to let it all out. Barely. But there is little time to think about it, as war comes to the galaxy. It is soon discovered that the Trade Federation has allied with many other corporate organizations to build an army the likes of which the galaxy has never seen. They now unleash this massive droid army upon the galaxy. In a matter of weeks, they begin to spring up all across the galaxy on numerous systems. It seems like sheer numbers alone will be enough to overwhelm the Republic. The only thing that saves them is the actions of a few brave and daring Jedi, chief among them Anakin. Just as the Republic reveals its new clone army, Anakin is ready on the front lines. Throughout the galaxy, many pause and watch as his black lightsaber cuts through the uncertainty. Wherever Anakin is, there is hope as he fights through waves of droids without fear. The Jedi moves with inhuman grace, rare even among the other Jedi, and holds the line for the clones to appear. The war burns across the galaxy, battle after battle. Anakin leads clones to victory. He becomes a symbol of strength and fearlessness. His legend grows, his black blade earning him the name, the lightsaber, among troopers and separatists alike. And yet, Anakin feels as though the Jedi do not appreciate him. They still do not see him as the man who can save them, as the man worthy of being a master, as if everything he had sacrificed was not good enough. He looks at the lightsaber, thinking long and hard about what that might mean. All this time, he had been told that the crystal was a sign of greatness, that he might have powers, maybe enough power to do what no others have done before. But the Jedi still do not feel him worthy. So instead, he focuses on winning more accomplishments by bringing a swift end to this war. The only way he can do that is by hunting Dooku. He gathers his forces and continues to chase him down, turning every stone and searching for any scrap of evidence that might lead to the Count. And then, at last, he finds him on the planet Theorist. Dooku stands in the middle of a city square, where he draws his saber. Anakin rushes at him immediately, sweeping his weapon. Dooku glides back, his movements precise and almost mockingly so.
Ah, I see we've undergone similar training, young one.
Anakin roars and comes at him again, his lightsaber raising and falling in lightning-quick strikes. They seem to send ripples into the Force itself as the blade glows an eerie black, yet Dooku is not intimidated. His own lightsaber moves to intercept each of these strikes. The only problem is that he is old and cannot meet these attacks head-on. Instead, all he can do is redirect them and push them aside. Anakin notices this and elbows the Sith, leaving him rubbing his jaw.
So much fury behind your strikes. You are not fighting to defeat me. You are fighting to prove yourself. The question is, who are you proving yourself to? The Jedi or yourself?
Anakin grits his teeth and attacks harder, but Dooku parries with elegant cruelty, using Anakin's aggression against him.
It is nothing I haven't seen before.
He turns the attack aside before whirling and throwing Anakin back with the Force. The block sends him flying into a window that explodes in a shower of sparks. But rather than fall, he rises to life and hurls the shards directly at him. Dooku counters with a burst of lightning that turns it all to sand which he directs towards Anakin, intending to scour him. Anakin leaps over this and hurls his lightsaber. The blade seems to devour the light as it flies toward Dooku. The Count must react quickly and avoid the strike.
Do not underestimate me. I am the lightsaber. You are just a boy. You are not special. You think that a saber makes you powerful? It is just a crystal. It carries no prophecy. It is a reflection of what you are. A shadow molded by the Jedi.
The words hit harder than any blade, and then Dooku strikes. He leaps up and unleashes his attack, raining quick strikes and elegant thrusts that Anakin struggles to block. With one final blow, Dooku sends Anakin stumbling back and knocks him over. His lightsaber rolls from his grip, and Anakin stares at it. Yet now, he doesn't recognize it. Everything he believes was built on that crystal. Now it feels hollow. Yet to his surprise, he sees Dooku reaching his hand out towards them. The Count's face is stern, almost unyielding, and yet there is understanding in it.
You blame yourself, but the true fault lies with the Jedi. They see you as a tool for their end, something that will save their precious order instead of accepting their weaknesses. But you do not need to be like them.
What do you mean? I would end up just like you?
Is that something you distrust? What is so wrong about becoming like me? I have shaken the shackles of being a Jedi and become something more. Is that not something you want?
And you've also plunged the galaxy into war.
And what do you think the Jedi have done? They have all stood by and watched this happen. Watched as the very evil they had sought to destroy crept into their highest ranks. The Republic is rotten to the core, and the Sith devoured it from within.
Liar! He springs forward and tries to tackle the Sith Lord to the ground, and yet Dooku spins out of the way and kicks Anakin back. When he turns around, he sees a lightsaber pointed at his throat.
Do not let anger blind you, fool. Ask yourself this. It took me years to assemble my droid army, and yet your Chancellor has managed to pull out his own army in a matter of weeks. How is that possible? All the while he has been granted emergency powers. Or how has he managed to rise higher in the ranks of the Republic with each crisis? He is now a dictator in all but name.
Anakin snarls, but he cannot fault these actions. He cannot find a hole in his logic. There are so many questions, ones that were never answered, ones that the Jedi didn't look into, ones that the Republic had silenced. But if that is true, then everything the Jedi Order told him was a lie. Every promise, every scar he's earned, and all those hours of training had turned to ash. Anakin closes his eyes and lets out a scream. Dooku does not get mad. His mind is already thinking of what they will do. Anakin does not answer back to the Jedi's summons. He cuts off communications to the Republic entirely and turns his attention back to planning their rebellion. Soon enough, hidden messages begin to reach the hands of Jedi whose loyalty is shaken, or who begin to question the methods of the Jedi during this time of war. Though Anakin had suffered the worst of it, many others fear the growing militarization of the Jedi Order. These same individuals receive the same message.
The Jedi are false. Open your eyes. They would use the faith of our forebears to bring ruin to us all. This war is a farce.
And soon many begin to join him. They slip by and threaten to create a schism within the Jedi Order just as the war continues. These Jedi make up the main officer corps of the Republic military, preventing the Republic from effectively fighting, as these Jedi also bring critical data to Anakin's rebellion. He continues to gather his forces on Valturis, renegade Jedi, planetary forces, and many more people who are exhausted by the war and fear the future. Once they are gathered and prepared, they decide to strike. In a few weeks, Ilum trembles under the weight of an assault. But rather than being from the forces of the droid army, this assault is commanded by their droid army. For millennia, its frozen caverns have been a sanctuary. Now they echo with thunder as engines descend from the sky. Anakin stands at the heart of a fleet. Separatist frigates, reprogrammed droids, loyal clones who have quietly turned from the Republic. Black sigils mark their armor. The few defenders there are quickly overwhelmed and captured. The Republic remains completely in the dark of these assaults, but the Jedi are all too aware of these efforts. Reports flood in. Ilum under siege. Most of the Republic doesn't know Ilum exists, let alone care to defend it. There will be no reinforcements. The Jedi are alone. Mace Windu slams his fist into the table.
Ilum, of all places, is under our noses. How could this be?
Aware of this planet, Dooku is. Lead an assault there, he will. Vulnerable the Kyber Crystals are.
We cannot let the planet remain in Separatist hands. There is no telling what he can do with that power. A force must be sent to retake the planet, even if we cannot count on the Republic's support.
Lead the operation, I will. Abandon the planet, we cannot.
They fall into grim silence. On Ilum, snow burns black. The droid battalions sweep through the mountains, razing outer temples, collecting Kyber shards to be transported off-world. Anakin walks alone through the caves. His black blade hums low at his side, resonating with the force-soaked ice around him. The deeper he goes, the more the cave seems to resist him. Echoes of the past screaming in silence. A faint memory haunts him. A boy, cold and afraid, guided by the Force to a place he thought would make him whole. Now, he carves it open. But now he will not let his emotions be kept hidden. He will unleash them instead. And as he turns a corner, he senses something. The Jedi Order has arrived. Yoda and a small band of Jedi arrive under the cover of night. Obi-Wan, Plo Koon, Shaak Ti, and several others. They split up across the ruins, aiming to disable droid relays and cut off their ability to respond. But it is a trap. From the ice emerge not just droids, but elite warriors. Dark-robed acolytes trained by Dooku in secret and renegade Jedi. They rush to engage the Jedi, who face them with their own weapons. The groups fight bravely, clashing their lightsabers as the battle turns. Yoda does not join the combat as he leaps through the courtyard and then makes his way inside, where Anakin waits for him. The black blade ignites with a hiss. Yoda stares up at the face of the boy he once tried to save, and sees nothing familiar left.
An end this is not. A fall only. The fall before the ruin.
You watched while my body broke, and my spirit was spent on training. You let me fall.
His lightsaber springs to life and leaps at Yoda, who dives out of the way. Anakin does not let him get away and continues to slash at him, forcing the Jedi to parry each strike. He chases after, but struggles to hit him as the smaller Jedi uses his superior agility and speed. Seeing as his attacks do not land a blow, he roars and barrels forward. His weapon sweeps around and tries to take him. However, Yoda rolls onto the defense and jabs his lightsaber up. Anakin arches back and tries to avoid it. He steps back and reverses his grip to jab it down, but neither of these attacks barely even glance at Yoda. He continues to press him, letting Yoda focus entirely on defending against these attacks. Because of that, he does not hear as another lightsaber ignites, and someone comes from behind. Dooku suddenly springs forward. His red lightsaber snakes through the air and narrowly misses his head. The Jedi just barely rolls out of the way and whirls around. He turns to see Dooku. The Count smiles but doesn't let up. His lightsaber continues to jab at him, forcing him back. That is, until, at last, the Jedi Master loses balance and stumbles. Anakin does not give him the chance to recover and sweeps his leg to send him falling over. A moment later, a pair of lightsabers is pointed at his throat. When they return outside, they see the rest of the Jedi Order has been captured by the Acolytes and the Renegades. These are all taken prisoner within Ilum. This is a great victory, and one that leaves the Jedi reeling. Not only have they lost one of the greatest temples, but they have also lost some of their greatest warriors. And rather than keep it hidden, he unleashes the news. The holonet flickers across the galaxy. From Coruscant to Raxus, from the outer rim to the core, citizens pause as static clears to reveal a darkened chamber on Ilum. At its center stands Anakin Skywalker, the Nightblade ignited and held low. Behind him, Yoda kneels in restraints, unconscious but alive. Around them stand captured Jedi, wounded, disarmed, defeated.
This is the cost of silence. You were told the Jedi were protectors. You were told we fought for peace. But what they never told you is how we were forged. They don't show you what they did to me, to every Jedi. Broken as children, trained like soldiers, punished for fear and trained to never feel love, to never question, to obey. They told me I was the chosen one, that this lightsaber represented my destiny. It was a lie.
The feed cuts to flickers of captured Republic footage. Anakin as a young boy, sparring, bleeding, kneeling in meditation while Mace Windu's shadow loomed. The battle footage, Clone Wars, fire, chaos, Anakin cutting through droids and men alike.
I gave them everything, and still it wasn't enough. Not for the Jedi. That I will not rise high because of the darkness within me. The darkness that they had planted. But I'm done obeying.
This is not the end of peace. It is its beginning. The Republic has rotted from the inside. The Jedi helped it rot. They upheld the will of the Senate, of a man who has increasingly made himself a tyrant. Every day he gathers more power, slipping it from right under your noses. But we will not allow it any longer.
If you truly wish to stop corruption, then look towards your Senate, look towards your Jedi, and look towards your Chancellor, and ask yourselves who truly has the power.
This report sends the Senate into chaos. Palpatine publicly denounces the broadcast as a separatist trick, but cracks have formed. Protesters begin to chant Anakin's words. Senators once loyal to the Republic begin to ask dangerous questions. In the Jedi Temple, fear hangs heavily. They've lost Yoda. They've lost dozens of masters. And worse, they've lost the people's trust. The council debates whether to stay silent or retaliate, but it's too late. While the Jedi scramble, Anakin moves. He leads a lightning-fast strike on the Jedi Temple, not to destroy it, but to draw them out. The lightsaber burns through statues of the old masters as Anakin walks the halls he once called home.
I've come home, Master. This is no longer your home, and I am no longer your master. This is a battle between you and me. That is how it's going to be. That is how it must be.
Anakin says nothing further. Instead, the lightsaber flashes in his hand as he rushes forward. Mace is ready to face him and blocks his attack. Unlike Yoda, he has the strength to halt these attacks in its tracks. He parries the strike and pushes Anakin back. The former Jedi flips back and then lands on a column, which he uses to propel himself forward. Anakin hits the ground and comes at him from a different angle. Each time he is pushed back, the former Jedi throws himself at Mace once again, unwilling to give him any reprieve. And yet the Jedi Master does not fall. Though he retreats, he does so step by step, each time blocking Anakin's strikes and forcing him to press deeper. There is no yielding in him as he watches his former apprentice. He looks around to see the other Jedi preparing to join the fight. With so many of them, they may well overwhelm him. But then he notices something past Anakin's shoulder, and Mace's eyes widen. A burning ship streaks through the clouds. It looks as though it has been shot down by the Coruscant air defenses, and yet its trajectory is too clean. It flies directly into the Jedi Temple. Anakin makes no effort to move out of the way as it crashes above him, sending columns exploding and debris raining down. Anakin reaches out from them and hurls the debris towards him. Mace raises his hand and sends it scattering just as the ship's boarding ramp descends and reveals a squadron of renegade Jedi coming rushing out to take the temple. He turns back to face Anakin, who offers him a smile. And then he senses it, a growing darkness within Anakin, one that he at last has been able to unleash. It comes rushing from his body and drapes around him like a cloak. As everything burns around him, Mace realizes that the vision has come to pass. When Anakin renews his attack, his blows are faster and more certain. There is a savagery to them, and it is as if the lightsaber might cleave his soul from his body.
You knew I was the chosen one. You always knew. But when Yoda said otherwise, what did you do? What did you do? Nothing. You were not ready to be the chosen one. That is not my fault. Not your fault. Who filled my head with dreams? Who made me train until my bones cracked? Who denied me my destiny?
With a roar, Anakin charges at his former master yet again. With the lightsaber in hand, the light seems dim from the temple as he rains down attacks upon him. Yet Mace is ready and catches these attacks. He begins using Vapad to stop them, trying to redirect the strikes. This is only partially successful, as Anakin does not seem to falter, no matter how much he throws back. In fact, the young warrior only seems to grow stronger, and Mace begins to stumble. He reaches out and tries to halt his next attack, but it takes more effort to summon Vapad. There is something about Anakin's strikes. They do not just carry the darkness with them. They bear something personal, and Mace struggles to get it past it. When their lightsabers strike, it sends memories rushing back to him. He sees Anakin training, giving everything he has. It was a simpler time, and he sees so much promise in the young Jedi. But for the very first time, he sees something else. The frustration was buried just beneath the surface. The anger and the exhaustion, the things that Mace had ignored or been too caught up to see. It was the darkness that had been hidden just beneath the surface. The realization leaves him to parry too slow, and the lightsaber slices across his side. Mace stumbles back and looks up at Anakin, seeing the man he had trailed. Seeing the man he had trained, and the darkness that shrouds him like the armor. The darkness he had bred.
I failed you.
You did.
But you cannot destroy all of this for it. All of civilization cannot fall.
There really is no end to your arrogance, Master. You truly think that only the Jedi and the Republic represent civilization. It has existed long before either of those things. Long before they had forgotten their missions. And it will exist after. The galaxy does not need the Jedi any longer.
Mace tries to raise his lightsaber, but Anakin is already moving. He brings his weapon down and takes Mace's head off in a single swipe. Anakin continues to storm the temple, leading his troops to capture and arrest the remaining Jedi. Just as he does that, he receives word from Dooku that he has taken the Senate building and killed Palpatine as well. This leaves the capital firmly in the CIS's hands. Their first course of action is to dictate crippling peace terms to the Republic, where purges become common, aimed at quashing corruption while many planets are granted independence. The Republic's bureaucracy is cut, and this leaves many corporate organizations free to run, but they do not enjoy success for long. Anakin continues to operate from Ilum, accompanied by those who follow him. Now free from the Jedi Order, they begin hunting down those corrupt corporate organizations along with anyone else who threatens the galaxy. That's our theory. The Star Wars universe is a galaxy filled with exciting stories and possibilities, and we love exploring them. If you want to accompany us on this journey to a galaxy far, far away, then please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.